Yo, yo, yo. How we doing? Everyone hear me all right? I'm just going to change some settings. See if that's better. I think that's better. Nice. Yo, Medellin Buzz, what's happening? Guys, welcome to my first live stream of a series of live streams that I'm going to be doing the first, what's today? Thursday? The first Thursday of every month, usually. Actually, I think this is the second Thursday. What is it? Yep. So it's the second Thursday of every month I'm going to be live streaming. The time is not fixed. We're just testing this out for now. This was pretty good. During the day, I was imagining a few of you might be able to tune in, maybe listen to work or whatever. But if you're tuned in and if you're watching right now and this time isn't good for you, then just let me know, and then I can try and think about what other times I could do to make it more convenient for you. But yeah, hey, Sam Akonda, how you doing? Tuned in at work. That's the way to do it. Work less, watch my live stream more. But today, the topic is frustrations about living in Medellin. You guys obviously all know that I'm very pro Medellin. I've been to 40 countries and I chose to live here because I just absolutely love it. But I think any good channel, any worthwhile channel watching anyway, needs to have a full, I guess, give you guys a full understanding of the good and the bad, so that you can make up your own minds at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, for example, I did a video on safety. It was released this Sunday. A lot of engagement. So probably 50% people saying like Medellin was too unsafe for them. They were, robbed and drugged and this and that. And the other 50 were like, no, I take basic precautions and nothing ever happened to me. So videos like that, I mean, I'm not going to come on and be like, it's the safest thing of all time, nothing ever happens, and then someone comes here and something happens to them because they don't take any precautions, you know what I mean? So I think it's very important to show both sides, and that's the theme of this video. It's more towards those of you who want to spend, let's say, more than 3 months here and ideally live here, because these things I'm going to talk about are really going to, let's say, frustrate you at one point or another. And these ones I have them in my notes right now. They basically frustrate me on a daily basis, more or less. But two things that I'm going to tell you about, two things that didn't make the list, but one's a funny story about Colombian culture, and one is obviously what everyone's thinking about, the elephant in the room. But before that, I just want to tell you that if you don't know, you can super chat on this live. What super chat means is that it's a donation, and when you type your question, it comes up in a big colored box, and then it alerts me, and then I'll ask you questions straight away. Yeah. So in this live stream, anyone who does a super chat or donates, 100% of the profits are going towards Help Colombia's Christmas initiative. And this year, what Help Colombia is doing is we're going out and buying a lot of shoes, and we're going to be donating shoes to kids in less fortunate areas of Medellin, so that they can have a better life at the end of the day. So Help Colombia is great. I'll leave their link in the description as well, in case you don't want to super chat and maybe you just want to donate privately. But I've been doing English classes in a place called Moravia for the last 2 years, ever since I got here. I think I got here, looked up volunteering, and went like the next week. That's kind of how I became mates with Andrew, who you've seen on my channel too. And that's just one of the things, weekly English classes for the less fortunate kids in the area, to hopefully give them more chances of maybe finding a job with higher pay so they can escape the poverty that they live in. So, learn English opens so many more doors, as obviously, maybe you don't know, but yeah, that's in Colombia. The way it works is even doctors, lawyers, whatever, unless you're a politician or someone famous like maybe Maluma or a criminal, I don't believe anyone's really making good money. For example, like a doctor working here might make 2,000 US a month, which is not really that much, but the whole when you think about it in terms of like what digital nomads might be making and stuff. So that's why it's so important for people to learn English in these countries and find a way out. But anyway, I digress. That is a big random story. But let's get to also I wanted to say as you've also probably seen on my channel, that I've been doing a few shorts from previous live streams. So when anyone asks a interesting question, I have been cutting those questions into the form of a little short, and I've been uploading it on my YouTube channel. So anyone answers a really good question today, I'll be most likely using it for a short. So you could be famous. Not really. Anyway, so donations, cutting for shorts. Yeah, I want to tell you a funny story. So one reason I was kind of a little bit late today, 2 minutes late. This is not really, that's early for Colombian style, but I went into the shower, turned it on, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a good shower. No hot water at all, just pure freezing ice cold. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I called out to my girlfriend, like, what's happening? She's like, oh, I think I got a notice that they're changing the gas pipes. So I think that's now. I was like, oh, obviously it has to be right now when I'm getting ready to go live. But anyway, I just like got in, cold shower, let's go, let's start, right? But a funny story that Colombians actually do, right? And I thought this was like an excuse, but my girlfriend actually told me that this is legit. Like a couple of weeks ago, our maid, she messaged and she said, I'm not coming into work today because my water's not on. And I was like, water's not on? What does that have to do with not coming to work? So my girlfriend's like, yeah, that's very common in Colombia. Like anytime the water's out in a building or something, and people can't have a shower before going to work, they just don't go at all. That's like a reason for a sick day or whatever, or a personal day. And employers are just like, oh yeah, whatever. So I thought that was super hilarious, that fact. But long story short, I made it. All right. So let's take a couple of questions before I get into the first elephant in the room point that's actually not part of my negatives in Colombia. We have 2 cents with Deb. Hey Deb, how you doing? What would be considered a really good salary in Colombia to live a very comfortable life, going out to eat, living in a nice apartment, etc.? For a foreigner, I'm not sure about Colombians, but for a foreigner, we've made a couple of videos about this. My second last video, the one before last week, I made about my personal living expenses, right? And I have very cheap rent here because I share with my girlfriend, but I put in my expenses, not including rent, and that was about $600 a month. And then I added what would be a normal rent or affordable rent, like a good rent, a good deal for someone who's living here in Laureles, where I live. And I said that was about $900. So you add those two together, and you can live pretty comfortably here for about $1,500. And now to answer your question, I'm going to add going out to eat and things like that. So I personally cook most of my meals at home. I'll only go out, say, once a week to eat, yeah, because I'm a vegan and it's just much easier to cook whatever here and eat it. Although there are good options, right? So 1,500, you might want to add, let's say to be safe, another $500 on top of that if you want to eat out a lot, order a lot of home service food. So let's say about $2,000. When I did a video with Andrew, his living expenses were $2,200, and he orders basically every single meal home delivered, like Uber Eats style, through an app called Rappi. He basically doesn't cook, and he also goes out every day. I think he's at the bar drinking 1 or 2 drinks and hanging out. So those 2 expenses I don't have, but all that included, he's spending only about $2,200, right? One thing he did leave out of that is health insurance. If you want health insurance, the best health insurance for like a 35-year-old is about $80 a month. So all in all, call it $2,300 to live a very comfortable life. That is that's assuming you rent an apartment through the local channels, yeah? So through the local channels, you'll save between 30 to 50% on rentals, depending on if you get unfurnished or furnished. If you go Airbnb, add, let's say, 30% to that figure of 2,300. So what's that? That's about another 600. Give or take, call it $3,000, yeah? So no, that's not. Rental is like 900, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, call it 2,600. So you'd be paying a little bit more if you want to do the Airbnb option, yeah? Hope that answers your question, Deb. But many factors. But yeah, let's just call it 2,600 Airbnb, maybe 2,200 with a good local deal long term, yeah? Samaconda. Sick name, by the way. How did you come up with that? I like it. My friend got held up in an ATM in Itagüí yesterday and is a paisa. Even some Colombians forget their surroundings. Sad times. Yeah, my question is, where was the ATM? I did a video way back, like it was maybe my third video or something, and I talked about only going to like centro comerciales or like malls to get your money out, and not walking around because obviously people can be watching you, right? So the best option I said was go somewhere that has a lot of people around. My girlfriend always does this. She never takes money out on the street. She always like, let's go to the bank in the mall, and she's like takes money out there. And immediately when we get the money out, it's not like we're walking around having a menu del dia, going to the park, eating ice cream. It's like we get the cash, boom, we're going home, putting it away, and only take what we need for the day. So yeah, that's kind of one of the irritating things, which didn't make my list, but those kind of things, guys. If you want to, Medellin has so many positives, right? Like the cost of living amongst other things, is incredible. You're never going to live a life like you could live here for the same price anywhere in the world, especially not in countries like Australia and the US. Yeah. So I feel like in everything in life, there's positives and negatives. So I'm prepared personally to give up some things. Like I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to not use an ATM on the street, happy to just go to the ATM at a central comercial and then get an Uber home. It's fine with me to live here. Another option with getting cash out is that it's a bit more expensive, but if ultimate safety is your goal, through the app Rappi, you can actually order cash. This is one of the most random and beautiful things that I've ever seen anywhere in the world. So I don't actually have a debit card because I had it in Australia and then I left and then it's expired. So now I just have a credit card. So I use my credit card to purchase cash on Rappi, and someone will deliver the cash to my door in 20 minutes. 20 minutes from ordering to the guy here with the money. And when he gives me the money, I have to give him a code. So I give him like 124 or whatever, and then the transaction's finished. But on that transaction, I get charged 7%. So if I usually get about like $100 out, I pay 107, but I don't have to go out. I don't have to face any dangers. The guy comes to my door. I can use a credit card as well for it. So that's a good hack. But yeah, let's take some more questions. They're filling up as always when I get on a tangent, and I've got 200 questions to answer. Who we got next? Deb, love me content. Thanks, brother. Deb, what's your name, man? I thought you were a girl, but now you said, hey, man, so I'm guessing you're a guy. And also no girls watch my videos, so that's another reason. So Victor, what's up, dude? Love the background. How much do you pay for the apartment, if that's okay to ask? Yeah, we got a nice background here. This is basically decoration courtesy of my beautiful girlfriend, because she is a artist slash fashion designer slash whatever. She's a creative. So she puts all this stuff together, and I just say, do whatever you want. I don't care, as long as it doesn't look too crazy. So I think it looks pretty nice. And we got in the corner here, I don't know how, I can't point to stuff on the screen, but maybe like this. We got my little click clacker. If anyone knows what that is, that's what they use on like movie sets when you're like, take one, take two. So that's the only thing I've added to this whole house. So not much use I am actually in terms of decorating. But this house, guys, this is owned by my girlfriend's parents. They've owned this for many, many years. And we pay them rent, and we live here together. So it's very cheap because they've had it for many years, and we're just paying. I think they paid it off as well. Like they own it completely, so they're not even paying mortgage. So we just pay them whatever they ask us, which might be like, I don't know, 600 a month, including services and stuff, 700. So it might be like 300 to 400 that we pay each, which is nothing. But for an apartment like this, Laureles, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It has like a little gym downstairs. It has portero, which is security guard 24/7. What else does it have? 2 bathrooms. I think I said that. And big. It's got a big. You can't see it now, but I'm looking at the mountains here in front of me. And if you know what Tres Cruces is, it's a hike. I can see directly that way the trailhead of Tres Cruces all the way to the top. So a place like this, you might be getting for between. I think maybe you've got it for $900 to $1,000 through local channels. That would be a good deal. Yeah. What do you think, Andrew? I know you're here, but let me know what you think about that, dude, if that's a good price. Let's keep going. Who else we got? Yeah, Victor, I answered your question. Um, yeah, Andrew, definitely sometimes just a matter of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. There was actually something happened. A few people commented on my question that an Aussie guy actually got robbed at gunpoint at Oviedo Mall at the entrance during the day, which is really, really bad. And he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And the one big mistake he made, I don't know if he tried this or this was just adrenaline kicking in. He resisted. He resisted when they tried to rob him and they shot him. So, guys, please never, ever do that. Just give up whatever you have on you because you can always buy new stuff. But once you're dead, I've never heard anyone who's coming back alive, except Lazarus. But anyway, let's go to continuing. Wandering Doc, what's up, man? You're in Thailand. How's it going over there? Let's see. 2 cents with Deb says, I highly. No, he said something. Colombia is always considered to be unsafe location given the drugging cases, murders. How do you feel Colombia compares to living in Bali, for example? Well, I've been to Bali 7 times. That's like my backyard because I'm from Melbourne. Bali, I actually got punched in Bali. I've never actually been attacked in Colombia, but I actually got attacked in Bali. So for me, Bali is personally more unsafe than here. But yeah, for most people, Bali is a heavy tourist destination. It's never been known as unsafe. But I still don't believe, like my personal experience, I have never had an issue, touch wood, with safety because I'm very cautious. And it's not in my nature to do some of the things which are like 100%, 100 out of 100 giving papaya. Like you've seen me, I never wear any jewelry. I haven't worn jewelry for like my whole life. It's just not in us. If anyone of you have been to Australia, we're more of like a surf laid back culture, much like people from California. So we're not really into the gold chains and the diamond encrusted and the grills and the Gucci this, Gucci that, and the flash. It's not really in me. So that was never a, I guess, sacrifice I had to make. I was never sad that like, oh damn, I'm not going to Colombia because I can't wear my gold chains, you know. So I never had to give that stuff up. And even with like drugging and robbing and stuff, like I've never been the type to just like, oh, send one message to someone and be like, oh yeah, let's invite her over. I always do strict background checks on everyone. So I think just the way I am has really protected me a lot. But I don't feel it's unsafe. I just feel like you need some education. And you need to sacrifice a couple things if you want to live here. Wondering Doc, dude, if you have you ever seen, you're in Philippines or you missed the Philippines, have you ever seen a YouTuber called what's his name, Travel Escapes? He's a really, really, really good mate of mine, Jonathan. He's at about like 150,000 subs now. He was like 2,000 when he left Colombia. He went to Philippines and just went boom, bang, thank you later. And he's blown up over there. He loves it. The Filipino people are so, so nice. And I love reading the comments on his videos because they're always like, we love you. Thanks for being in our country, blah, blah, blah. But I digress. 2 cents. Highly recommend you to explore Bangalore in India. It's a really developed city and pretty safe. Would love to know your thoughts on that as well. My parents keep getting me to go, but it's not really on top of my list right now. What I would like to do one day is do a tiger safari. I would love to go there because I'm a big animal lover and nature lover. So if you know a good place for that where I can see a tiger, let me know. Let's keep going. Anyone's got a question? Oh, yeah. Victor says, I need a Colombian girlfriend then, hopefully someday. Don't we all? You'll find one, man. Just be a good bloke. That goes very far. Don't be desperate. Be a nice guy. Have something to offer. Honestly, it's not that hard. Looking jacked, am I? I haven't been doing much weightlifting lately. When I was back home, I was like a 4 or 5 times gym man. But now that I'm playing tennis, like maybe 10 hours a week, training for a competition, I've really cut down on the gym. So that's good. Well, you're good. I love you, man. Good stuff. Thanks for that. Keep those comments coming. All right. So, guys, let me continue with I think I already covered the safety thing, to be honest, in a roundabout way. Safety, you're probably thinking that safety is a frustrating thing that I'm going to talk about, but it honestly does not frustrate me because I go about my daily business. You know, I play sports, I hang with locals, I might go out for a dinner or something, but I'm never doing things that intentionally give papaya, as they would say here. So it was never really difficult for me to get used to it. Like people told me don't use your phone on the street. I'm like, okay, understood. I was like never one to argue or be like, fuck this country, can't believe I can't use my phone, blah blah blah. Wish I was in the United States. All this shit, like I don't care. So it's never affected me. But anyway, um, let's yeah. So Buddha, good question. Curious to get a sense of security realities of Medellin compared to the rougher spots of the US. Um, I have never been to the real dangerous places in the US. Like when I see the stats, I know stats are just numbers and they don't tell the whole story, but I guess they tell some some of the story. I do a lot of research about dangerous cities compared to Medellin, right? And the crime levels in Baltimore, St. Louis, and there's one more, Chicago, are much worse than in Medellin. But not being there, I don't know. Like, can you walk around in all parts of Baltimore with on your phone? I'm not sure. But anyone been there? Can you let me know? Because it's quite interesting to see. Like, check the stats. That's one thing, and then get the real facts from people on the street, which is what you watch our channel for, I guess. If you read some blogs and stuff, you might hear that, oh my God, Colombia, blah blah blah. But then you get the real info here when you listen to people who've been living here for a long time. Yeah, punched in Bali. That was a long story. My mate was doing something stupid, and then do you want to hear the story? Let me know if you want to hear the story. I tell you, it's so stupid. Oh my God, it's so dumb. But let me know. What we got? Yeah, 2 cents. Let me know about the wildlife, dude. That's probably in the next 2 or 3 years. I want to go and do like a real wildlife tour. One safari in India to see a tiger, or Sri Lanka. I think they have them there as well, and one in South Africa. That'd be really really cool. I'd love that. Samaconda, thank you. First donations, Christmas fund, straight to the kids. £10. Thank you. I'm sure the kids are going to love that. Thank you so much. If anyone's just joined in, this is a 100% live fundraiser. Any super chats you do will be going towards the Help Colombia Christmas drive, where we're going to buy a whole lot of shoes for kids in less fortunate areas, and we're going to hand them out to them during this Christmas season, or holiday season, as some people may say. All right. ABX girl, what's up? I remember you from Andrew's stream. I was told the gyms in Medellin are good and there are free classes at the stadium, Estadio. I don't know about the free classes. I've never done that. But the gyms are good in Medellin is a very, how do I say, controversial topic. Smart Fit is the most popular gym here. And it was one of the worst gyms that I've ever been to in my life because it's so busy at all times. For about a year, I could never do the workout that I wanted. Like, unless people have told me, hey, you got to go 5 a.m. Mate, I didn't move to Colombia to wake up at 5 a.m. So I'm not a morning guy. I don't want to wake up and go to the gym at 5 or 4 a.m. just to get in where it's not busy. So I go like maybe 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, all those hours. And the gym I went to, Smart Fit, completely packed all the time. So I just didn't even do like a set workout. I would just go, what machine's free? All right, I guess I'm doing squats, followed by bicep curls, followed by running, followed by rope swinging, workout done. So it was never efficient and completely horrible. But yeah, that gym is horrible. But there are some other good ones. My favorite one, personally, is what's it called? Athletic Gym in Manila. So the Manila neighborhood of Poblado has the best gym in terms of community, in terms of not many people being there. I used to go around between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It was basically empty. They had a little coffee machine there. So I'd go have my Juan Valdez coffee, talk to all the people there, work out. That was actually where I did my very first video on YouTube. I did a little documentary about a few of the Colombian guys working out there, and they told me about their city and stuff. I used copyright music because I didn't know anything about YouTube, and it's been taken down now. So if you haven't seen that video, you'll never be able to see it, unfortunately. But go to that gym, check it out. Absolutely love it. If I lived in Poblado, I would be going there for sure. Let's see. In terms of gyms as well, they have a lot of outdoor gyms here. So, for example, in Belén, Unidad Deportiva Andrés Escobar, they have a really cool outdoor gym with weights and all that. And it's a really cool vibe. You got a lot of people there working out and hanging out. They have some guys selling like protein shakes next to it, people playing music. Definitely go check that out. Detroit is number 4 in US for violent crime. What's number 1, 2, and 3? Is those the threes I said? St. Louis, Baltimore, and the other one, forget. Chicago. CBL, I heard you can drink water out of the tap in Medellin. Yes, you can. Let me show you. I'll be back in a sec. Cup, just to prove it to you. All right, here we go. Fresh water. I mean, there we go. Straight from the tap. Delicious. Long story short, it's completely safe. I've been drinking it for 2 years. I'm not dead yet. Don't feel anything bad. Everyone I met has been drinking from the tap too, so don't worry about that. That's one of the great things actually about living here, because I've spoken about this before. It's super annoying when you go somewhere like Mexico, for example. The whole of Mexico, for some reason, even Mexico City, which is like this super developed, incredible international city, you can't drink the bloody water. Like, that's so annoying when you wake up after a long sleep or whatever. And for those of you that drink a long night out, being hungover as fuck, and you're like, oh my God, I got to go walk to the shop and buy water. So irritating. But yeah, here you can drink the water. ABX, I feel safer in Medellin than being in a store or school in the US. Yeah, well, it's another big problem, hey? Booty meat, what a name, Jesus Christ. Is there menudo in Colombia? That's like the, is that like the pig liver weird soup or whatever they eat in Mexico? Actually, I'm not sure if they have it in Colombia, to be honest. Wondering, Doc, I went to Medellin this July with my girlfriend from Mexico. Was way hotter than they say, and we weren't treated that well by strangers. I guess I had more hype in my head. Yeah, it's been really hot this year. When I came, the first year I was here, it was beautiful, like 22, 23, 24 Celsius. I don't know about Fahrenheit, but Celsius every day, pleasant. But the last year, people tell me this El Nino or whatever, some weather phenomenon has made it really hot. And yeah, it's been bacon hot this year. So hopefully that will change in a bit. My Skin's Money, amazing content. Certain YouTubers tend to take criticism as hate. Keep working. Thanks, man. Thanks for the donation. We're buying some kids some shoes with that. So thank you so much. Yeah, I don't mind criticism as long as it's constructive. Then I'm happy to take it on. But if it's just hateful and stupid, then that's a different story. But yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Let's get back. I'm probably never even going to get into my content because these questions are flying, but hopefully. Let's go. Has anyone been to any Medellin football games? Which team is the main one? So Nacional is the most popular one, and Medellin is in this city as well, but they're not as popular as Nacional. If you go around, you see all the green and white jerseys. We're actually going to go, I believe, next month as part of our masterclass community. All of us are going to go to a game. So that will be pretty cool. That'll be my first game. I'm going to vlog it as well. So I'll show you guys what it's like from inside the action. What? I live here in Medellin. I'm looking for good volunteering options. Where's the best place to look? What type of volunteering do you want to do, man? I go every week to a place called Moravia, and I help teach English to little kids. The ones I teach are between like 10 and 12, something like that. And it's really fun, very rewarding. So if you want, just comment on this video somewhere. Wherever you can comment, I'll see it, and I'll just send you the link. So you can, you just got to fill out a little screening questionnaire, and then we'll give you some more details on how to volunteer. And that goes for everyone else. If you want to come here and want to volunteer, just comment and I'll let you know how to do it. Yeah. My Skin's Money, appreciate this rather than fear mongering Colombia, and you are participating, giving back to the community. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I think a lot of people do the fear mongering for clicks. I mean, if you make a video like Colombia is not so dangerous, it's a nice place, probably 5 people are going to watch it. But if you're like dead, robbed, stabbed, killed, murdered, thrown in the river, Colombia, it's going to blow up. So sensationalism is what gets clicks these days, and probably ever, because look at the news. The news is the perfect example. If you watch the news, it's like 95% killing, robbing, dying, just fear, fear, fear. We're dying, global warming, this new food is going to kill you, that, and people watch it. And at the end, 5 minutes, it's like, here's a dog surfing. So it's like negativity gets more views, I guess. Victor Boiki. Where are you from, Victor? That's a very interesting name. Hi, Joel. How do you think? How problematic is buying XXL size clothing in Medellin? What's the situation with shopping for clothes online? Ooh, XXL is going to be hard because in the States and in Australia, I'm a perfect medium. Everything I wear off the rack, medium fits me. But in Colombia, I need to wear large. So you obviously always buy a size up. If you're XXL in the US, I guess you need XXXL here. I don't know. But Andy, if you're here, leave us a comment, because Andrew is 6'3" and like 220 pounds, 230. So he would have a better answer for you. But I think it's that a bit more difficult. But you can buy always on Amazon. Like, Amazon's really good. I've done a few orders. I bought a lot of tennis stuff here from Amazon. And as long as you keep the order under $200, you don't get hit with any crazy import taxes. And most stuff I bought has come here in about a week. So that's really good, straight from the US to Medellin. George, what's up, dude? George, you were on my very first live, when I used to do the live of, what was it called again? Talking to the locals, asking the locals, or ask a local. That's the one. I used to have locals on next to me, and we used to talk about Colombian culture and stuff. And George was always used to watch from your commute home on the train or something like that, right, George? But yeah, come a long way. Yeah, don't drink tap water in Mexico. You will have a very bad trip. Let's see what else we got. We got anyone else here? Jonathan Kessels. Jonathan, how you doing, man? Thanks for your question. What's the best way to make friends in Colombia with locals? I'm planning on moving there after the military. The best way to make friends with locals would be to join groups of things, right? There's plenty of groups you can find on WhatsApp, on Facebook. There's a group for almost everything here, from board games to sports to hiking to, I don't know, party, whatever you want to do, there's a group. So when you find those groups, you can go there and enjoy the hobby or interest that you're interested in. And then you'll meet people that way. That's the best way that I've found. I meet a lot of people through playing tennis, and met some through playing basketball, and obviously volunteering. I met some really, really quality people through doing this volunteering every week. So that's really, really good. I hope that helps you. Let's hear the Bali Punch story. Yes. 1 second. Pedro Martins, is it difficult to have a serious relationship in Medellin? I don't think so. Not really. For me, it hasn't been difficult. Been very easy, actually. Probably the easiest relationship of my life. But you just have to know where to look, and you just have to screen a bit better, which is the problem that many people fall into. And the same tip as what I gave before for meeting friends, that's what you can use for dating. I mean, if you go on Tinder and that's your way of getting a long-term relationship, obviously it's not going to work. But if you go and say, hey, I love hiking, I'm going to go and join this hiking group to hopefully enjoy something that I like and do an activity that gets me outdoors and meet some like-minded people, that's a much better way to meet someone for a serious long-term relationship, right? I hope that makes sense. So Bali Punch story. Okay, so to summarize, we were walking back from a bar to our apartment one night in Bali, or a villa as they call there, and my mate decides to stop in an alleyway. So the alleyway is like this, right? So on this side there's a wall, and he decides to take a piss on the wall. So this is something he's probably done 1,000 times in Australia, whatever. So he's taking a piss. I'm just standing there, like looking at my phone or whatever. And on the other side, there's something else, but we'd never noticed what it was because it was very dark, right? So he takes a piss. We come out. and we move. And then there's like two Balinese guys come up to us and they're like, "What are you doing? That's so disrespectful, you fucking foreigners, blah, 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 this, that." And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I thought it's because my mate was peeing in the street. Maybe we're not allowed to do that there, whatever. And then they go, "No, on this side," like they said, "You peed on our what's this called? A statue of like Buddha or whatever they worship there, like statue of Buddha." Even though it was on this side and the wall was on the other side, they thought, because they couldn't see because it was dark, they thought we were peeing disrespectfully, or he was, on the statue. So they came up and they were like asking, "Why'd you do that? What, don't you have any respect?" Blah blah blah. And before we saw like two people. Before first it was two, and then suddenly it was like 10 people, and we're like, "Oh shit, what's going on here?" And then we tried to walk further towards like a bar where there was security guards and stuff. But we went to the bar where the security guard was, and then they were like dabbing up the security guards, like, "Yo, what up?" They're all mates. So we're like, "Oh no, this is not going to be good." So, long story short, we was kind of like a Mexican standoff there for a long time. We got hit a few times. Nothing too bad, just like a busted lip or whatever. And at the end of the day, we kind of negotiated with like the head guy whose house that was. And he said, "Come back the next morning, 6 a.m., come to this spot, apologize to me officially, and then we can let it go." So we woke up and we're like, "All right, let's get there so these guys don't do anything else." We went there at 6 in the morning. We waited till like 7, but he never showed up, and that was that. So, yeah, lesson learned, I guess. Johnny, what's up, bro? Johnny, if anyone doesn't know Johnny, first of all, thank you for the donation. We're buying some kids some shoes this Christmas. Thank you, Johnny. And also, Johnny is the moderator of a great Facebook group that all of you guys can join called Gringo Paisa. And there you can ask all your questions and stuff you want. That's one of the more safer spaces on Facebook that I've seen here. I like that one. And another one called Medellin for non-jerks too. But mostly, a lot of the groups you'll find are very toxic. A lot of people, bitter people, and they just hate life and love to shit on everyone else. But join Gringo Paisa. That's a great one. Started by Johnny, moderated by Andrew. So, it's a good spot, right? Thank you for the donation again. Gill Girls, thank you. Thank you, my man. George, $20. Let's do this. Mate, we are going to, I don't even know how many shoes this can buy. Andrew, can you update me on what's the cost per shoe? No, cost per pair of shoes, and then maybe we can do that. But yes, I think we're approaching 25, 45, maybe 60, $70. Let's get those donations up, guys. But George, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you all. You and Andrew have a great lunch on me. This is not going towards our lunch, mate. This is going towards the shoes for the kids this Christmas. But thank you, my man. Johnny, I forgot to read your message. Great job, guys. Please share the volunteer and donation info for the kids on Gringo Paisa. Yeah, once this video is done, I'll go on Gringo Paisa and share it there too. All right. Oh my God, I'm never going to get to my content. Let's see if there's any other questions. Bali is full of Australians, lovely beaches, and the locals are usually cordial. Yeah, Bali is filled with wasted Aussies now. Depends where you go, but if you go to some parts, it's just like Aussies destroying it. Yeah, Samaconda, there's a place called Medellin for Non-Jerks, a Facebook group, and that tells you a lot about social media. They actually had to create a safe space away from the jerks. I've never seen that anywhere else, but that's a good group too, well moderated. The guy there, I think it's moderated by Margarita and Bill. They're good people too, so check that one out as well. Mohammed Khan, you have been joining one of my websites and you have some questions. Yeah, man, just leave me a comment on one of those videos and I'll get back to you with my email address and we can talk that way, yeah? Victor Boyko, his name is from Russia and my name is popular there. Cool. He's going to Medellin for a few weeks. I'm a basketball player, 6'6", probably the tallest there, yeah. If you're a good basketball player, go to Unidad Deportiva Andres Escobar. It's in Belén. You want to go on Mondays at 6 p.m. because I went on other days and it was just kind of, the skill wasn't that good. But on Monday, that day when I went anyway, all these like huge 6'4", 6'5" Colombians with like local basketball uniforms rocked up. I guess they play in the local league and they were all balling there and they were really, really good. Big, like tough, strong guys too. And yeah, I played basketball for a long time and that was tough. So if you want a challenge, go there, right? Bali is bogan heaven. Oh my god, absolute bogans, wall to wall, horrible, right? Um, but yeah, I used to love Bali back in the day because I'm a surfer, so I used to just zip around on my motorbike, surf the spots, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. All right, finally, how far are we in? 40 minutes in. Oh my god, let's get into number one. What's this video about? Number one on most frustrating things about living in Colombia, right? Customer service and accountability. I'm not talking about customer service when you go to a restaurant and you got to wait like 10 minutes for a bill, because that's a thing. But I don't really care that much. I'm happy to wait, whatever. But the customer service from actual businesses can sometimes be horrible. For example, there's many stories floating around about visa lawyers. Visa lawyers absolutely fucking up people's visas by omission of certain things, and then that's caused a chain of events to result in someone being like illegal in the country, having to pay a fine, banned from the country, whatever. Many stories I've heard. All right, if you go to the Facebook groups, you're going to hear every visa lawyer there is having a negative review there. So that's one problem. Customer service from professionals like that is horrendous, and once they do something, there's no cleanup. Like I've noticed in other countries like Australia, the US, if they make a mistake, they're so afraid of negative publicity that they'll do everything in their power to fix it for you, so they turn a angry customer into a happy customer, right? I've had this experience many times back in Australia, but here they don't care. They're like, oh, we fucked up your application. Bad luck. Even if you say, I'm going to write a bad review, I'm going to tell everyone about this, they're like, yeah, whatever. This is just another day. Who gives a shit? No accountability at all. Okay. So that's why it's very, very important to always, ask for 2 or 3 opinions, check the reviews, maybe check all their credentials, see who else they've dealt with, and then choose your company that way. And that's especially important when we talk about things like that's going to affect your life, like visa lawyers, real estate agents, especially when you're buying property, right? And just general things like that. Anyone you're hiring, and so that's one thing that's very frustrating on a day-to-day thing. You can't just employ someone, even like an established company, and expect that they're going to be giving you good service. A perfect example of this is Avianca, the airline. So we had a trip planned to where are we going? I think we're going to Santa Marta, and our flight was at 6 p.m. Right? So 6 p.m. we had to be on the plane. They send us an email at 5 p.m. saying they sent us an email at like 4 p.m. saying your flight's been changed to 5 or something, like an hour for us to like get all our stuff and be there. So it was something crazy like that. So we missed the flight, obviously. And then my girlfriend had to call up. She had to be on the phone for like 2-3 hours just to get them to change the flight and let us go the next day. So just little stupid things like that they do, and then make it all on the customer to fix it, can be very, very, very irritating. So just watch out for that. Make sure you do your due diligence, checking lots of reviews, and things like that. Yeah. So let's go to number 2. But let's see if there's any more questions. Coming to Medellin on Monday for 3 months. Awesome, man. I'm glad my videos could help. Good. I'm going to take, guys, ask me questions, but I'm going to jump straight into number 2. Oh, yeah. So with number one thing I was going to talk about is with the bad customer service, it's that there's no, I guess, reactive nature here. So if you want to rent a property or something, and you message a real estate agent and you say, hey, I'm ready to move in like next week. Can you help me with this apartment? I saw the ad, blah, blah, blah. I'm ready. You might have to message them like every day, like 3 times, just to get them to do their job. It's not like other countries where like, hey, how are you feeling about the apartment? Can I do anything else for you? Can I help you? It's not like a reactive help the customer thing. I feel a lot of times in many transactions I've had, I have to work harder than the business to actually give them my money, which can be extremely frustrating and time wasting, right? One way around this is to just hire a PA. So I have a personal assistant that I use for some like data gathering tasks and tasks that take me a long time, and frankly are quite boring and irritating. My personal assistant, I didn't even negotiate any price with her. I just asked her, "What do you charge?" She said $8 an hour. I said, "That sounds pretty good to me." So yeah, she's on my payroll for $8 an hour, and I just hire her for whenever I need her to do any of these irritating tasks that make me mad. Um, so yeah, that is number one. So watch out for that. Number two, everything is slow. Everything is slow here compared to other countries like Australia, Canada, UK, US, and processes are inefficient, right? So, one thing, for example, that many of you have noticed if you live here any amount of time is that all the websites are broken. What's this all about? Like everything from the visa, like if you've ever tried to extend your visa you get 90 days when you arrive here, but you can extend another 90 days and get 180 days without having a visa, just on your tourist stamp. But honestly, to figure out how to do this application, you either one, need to have a rocket science degree, or two, you need to watch my video on how to do it. Because I literally had to make a video about it because it's that difficult. There's like one section that it's like a coding error or something that if you change it, they have two options. They have an option to put the form in English or Spanish. But if you actually change it to English, you can't submit the form. So people can get stuck for days, like no idea how to figure that out. And my friends have told me that's been like that for like 3 years and they've done nothing to fix it. So things like that, very irritating. Also, simple things like booking a dinner. Like I went to this restaurant website the other day. It said, book a reservation. Clicked it, nothing happened at all. So then I had to find their WhatsApp number, send like 10 messages to someone. They sent me to another WhatsApp number. They asked, when do you want to book? I said, this time, give them all my details and book. So small things can turn into big fiascos here. But once again, workaround is, if you can afford it, get a PA or just get some more patience, I guess. So let's take some more questions, guys, before we go to number 3, which is actually a good one. And I just actually talked about it before. But yeah, hit me up with some more questions about anything that you might have. The thin line media. In Medellin, they rob at Centro Comercial in broad daylight too, attacking Ubers as well. So nowhere is safe to take out your cash. When has that happened? I'm not sure if I've missed the news reports or what, but I don't hear about this happening like every day. Obviously, it happened last week to the guy in front of Oviedo, but I think that was like more of like a one-off thing. Let's see what else we got. Buddha Weatherby said, speaking of gyms, any good MMA or BJJ gyms? Yeah. One of my good mates, he goes to a gym called AtLab here, and he always posts videos and photos of doing BJJ there, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He loves it. He says it's a really cool community over there. So you can go there. There's another one called MMA Colombia, and that's in, where is that? That's in like the Guayabal area, I believe, like kind of halfway between like Laureles and Poblado, if that's kind of a bad explanation, but it's called MMA Colombia. So you can check that out as well. There's a big community of people doing this BJJ, MMA stuff. So yeah, you can definitely find it. Amazon delivers within 10 days. I order all the time, said Medellin Buzz. Yeah, it does. Yeah, 10 days. But sometimes what I was very surprised about, sometimes it even arrived before the order date, which I was very surprised ordering something in Colombia, right? Let's keep going. Missinger. Any idea what it's like having and raising kids there? Is it that something you'd I can't say the last thing because there's a love heart icon. I'm guessing you're saying something you do personally. For me, yes, but well, I don't want kids first of all. But if I did, there's areas that you want to live, right? So you probably wouldn't want to live on Calle Diaz in midst of all the craziness that goes on there and raising kids. A better place might be somewhere like Envigado, which is just to the south of Medellin, which is the safest area in the whole city. And it's much better. You can get houses instead of like apartments. So it could be better for the kids to run around in the backyard or whatever if you can get that. So there are certain areas. I do know that people are moving here. One big thing that I really love is that in the last few years, especially, we've seen the demographic changing, right? So maybe 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, it was all just like single guys coming here, right? For obvious reasons. But lately, what I've seen, especially in the last 12 months, is a lot of single females coming here. That's always a good thing about safety. When you see a lot of single females or groups of females in a certain area, you know that things are changing, right? So I see a lot of them coming. And also, we see a lot of families. I've seen a lot of families here. I went to a cafe the other day and I saw this evidently like European or American, or they looked almost like Swedish. They had like very pale skin and very like light features and like super blonde hair. And it was like a mum, dad, and like 3 kids. And they were just hanging out there in Mijo de Oro having a coffee. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. This is when you know like a city is about to take the next level to like worldwide tourism and not just like a certain type of tourist, right? I also had a guy who messaged me and he said, "Hey, I love your videos. You're a big reason that I'm moving to Medellin with my family of 4." He has 4 kids or 3 kids, 4 or 3 kids, all under the age of 5 or 6. So with his young family, he's seen enough and done enough research to understand that you can raise a family and live here, right? And more than that, Colombians have raised many children here. So it's not like you can't do it, right? So it just depends. You need to do the specific research about schools and where to put your kids and what activities to do and stuff. But yeah, it's plenty fine. If like to summarize it in one sentence, with raising kids or whatever you want to do in Medellin, it's fine, it's safe, it's great if you stay educated and you take the necessary precautions, right? If you don't, bad things can happen. All right. Guess who? Thanks for hosting the chat. Thanks. No worries, man. Happy to do it. I have about another half an hour on here, guys. So just sling me your questions. I have to leave about 11:55. I have my weekly singing lesson. And that was one of my bucket list things. I want to do a live performance somewhere one day. So I'm on the path to doing that. That was basically my weakest thing. Out of anything that I did, I was a horrible, horrible singer. Like, had a horrible voice. I didn't know how to hit any notes. So I wanted to strengthen that part of my myself. So I've been taking lessons for the past, let's say, like maybe a year and a half, pretty seriously, from a girl here in Medellin. If you want her contact details, comment on this video as well, and I'll shoot them to you. She's really, really good, but doesn't speak English. So you can take that in a positive way. It'll be singing practice and Spanish practice at the same time. So let's see. Who else we got? Yeah, so that was a kid's question. Let me get to the next one of number 3. So yeah, we just touched on this, but one thing that can be frustrating, and this is a very first world problem, let me tell you. I'm not sure if I can use the term first world anymore. I think that's offensive, but I also honestly don't know what else to call it. So that's what I'm using now. So lack of access to items because they don't have everything here. And what you can get is severely overpriced sometimes, especially when it comes to electronics, right? So for example, if you order anything that comes into the country that's over $200 in value, they're hit with a lot of import tax, which I believe from checking last is 30%. So you're going to pay extra 30% on everything. Plus, you're going to pay the markup that the local retailers have. So any type of electronics going to be very expensive. And on top of that, some of the electronics that you can buy in the US, like the latest and greatest things, you can't even buy. Like my computer that I'm using here, I couldn't even buy it in Colombia. So luckily for me, a friend of mine was in Medellin and he was doing a quick like trip for a bachelor party to Vegas and back. So I asked him like, dude, can you pick up a computer for me and bring it back? And he did that. So if I didn't have him, then I wouldn't have been able to get the computer at all. So that's one kind of irritating thing. But a way around that is just plan your trips around, you know, if you want to go back home, just buy the stuff there and bring it in. And one big tip is, say, for example, you buy a laptop, take it out of the box, put it in your suitcase like you've been using it, like it's been yours, and come back in, right? Because I have heard stories that if they see it in the box and it's unopened, they can be like, okay, you obviously just bought this and you're bringing it in. We're going to charge you for the 30% import tax. So that's actually a great tip. And yeah, so that's number 3. And number 4 is a big one. And we also talked about this earlier. And I have some really good solutions for this one too, but we have some more questions. So let's get to that. 95% of the schools in Medellin only have teachers who speak Spanish. Bogota has more options for English. Also, everyone has to pay for any sort of university schooling. There's actually a school here called the Columbus School, I believe. I was out in Santa Elena doing a video job one time, and there was a group of people all from this Columbus School. They're all foreigners from Canada, the US, and different countries, and they actually live in Colombia, and they teach English at this Columbus School. So there are some specialist schools out there, but they're obviously going to be much more expensive than just a local school. But that might be an option for you, right? Free university. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if there's free or not, but I guess I'm going to believe you for right now unless someone says something different. Guess who? Best way to manage ATM fees. ATM fees, the best way to manage ATM fees is getting a card that doesn't charge ATM fees. One of those is the Charles Schwab debit card. I think it's only available for people in the US, but this card is very special because it refunds all your ATM fees, right, at the end of the month. So that's a good option for you. Take out as much money as possible. The fee is $5, but you shouldn't walk around with your cards anywhere. Yeah, so I think it's not that bad. You can go to like a mall, centro comercial, and you can take the money out there, and then you can get an Uber and go home. Or you can do as I said before, which was Rappi. You can Rappi the cash, and that comes to your door as well, right? So yeah, next one is on the top on the list of most frustrating things about living in Medellin is it has a lot more toxic foreigners, toxic expats than I've seen in anywhere else in the world, right? I lived in Mexico for 1.5 years, and I never saw these type of people. I lived on the Pacific coast of Mexico, all different towns there, and I never saw this type of negativity and bitterness, right? So what you'll find here is, I don't know what it is. Well, maybe I know what it is, but you can make up your own mind. It attracts a lot of people that escape their life and come here, but then they hate the life here as well. So I see a lot of comments on these Facebook groups of people who have lived here like 10 years, 15 years, and all their comments are just talking shit about Colombians, saying that like, I hate Colombians, can't believe they do this, fuck this city, why would anyone live here, blah, 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 blah. Just hate on hate on hate on hate. But they still live here. Like, why? I don't get that. Doesn't make any sense to me at all, right? And it was funny. One of our masterclass members, Sergio, he actually messaged me yesterday. I told him when he first got here, I said, dude, join these groups. I'm telling you, these are the good ones. Gringo Paisa and Medellin for non-jerks. If you join any other type of group, be aware about bitterness and toxicity. And he just messaged me yesterday. He's like, hey, bro, I joined this group and I understand now what you mean about the toxicity. Because it's just like people want to argue about stupid shit for like 2 days, right? And as soon as you ask a question, I've seen people asking very innocent things, could even be like the most innocent question of all time. Hey, where's a good place to live? And then it's like 50 people being like the most negative stuff that you would ever see in your world, in the world. So I don't know what that's about. That's one thing that really kind of pisses me off, that like, especially being my work is on social media. So being on social media every day, I see all of that, and it's just irritating. For me, I'm used to it, but it can be very shell-shocking for someone who's just arrived here and it's like, hey, I want to join a community. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to hang out, make some friends, and then you just hit head on with all this like bad energy, right? So some tips around that. Obviously, first of all, join the recommended and well moderated Facebook groups. So Facebook groups are a great way to get information, right? And you can do Gringo Paisa and you can do Medellin for non-jerks, okay? On top of that, there's a website called MDE Community. And that's basically a list of all the WhatsApp groups in the city. And there's different ones. I'm part of a couple of ones. I just joined like an entrepreneurs group, which does like video calls every Sunday and talks about different entrepreneur stuff. There's some other ones for hiking, cooking, dancing, everything you'll find on there. And those groups are moderated by the MDE community, and usually people who are kind of toxic get booted out of those groups too. So those are great ways of finding people and like-minded connections, right? Let's take some questions, guys, before I get into number 5. What do you guys think about that last point as well? Have you spent some time in Medellin, and have you noticed like that there's a lot more kind of toxic foreigners and expats here than other places you've lived? I've heard this a lot from many people, but I'm just interested in um, your opinions as well. It's like maybe it's just each person's different, or yeah, what do you think? Also, if you have any comments on any of the other things I touched on, or anything else that really, really frustrates you, I know we all love living here and stuff, but there's got to be some things that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this keeps happening, or I can't believe they do things this way, or something like that. Then let me know about that as well, right? Let's keep moving with a couple of questions. Samakonda, what percentage of people in the groups are normal, if that's the word? Not the women hunters, a nice way to put it. Well, that's a good question, actually. It depends what group, right? Like groups like the ones I just mentioned, you find a lot more people normal, like maybe 70, 80% who actually there and answer questions and help, because they boot the people that are negative. But some groups are like all holds barred, like cage match WWE style, Hell in a Cell. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. So there, it's like 95% toxic people, because no one's moderating and no one's booting these people out, right? Colombian culture, DIB lifestyle says Colombia culture is totally different. You have to adjust. Yeah, that's right. What was that in response to? That was just a random comment, or was that a response to something else? And when I talk about this toxic people, I don't mean Colombians, right? The Colombians that I've met have been awesome. Like 90%, like say 80% of my friends in the city are Colombians, and I see them every week. I hang out with them, and they're just very, very helpful, completely nice, very welcoming, have never been and never said a bad word. This mainly the negativity and toxicity is coming from the other expats, right? Yo, James Jones, $20 donation. Thanks, brother. He says, greetings from Oaxaca. Helping kids is always a blessing. Also hit that like button. I was going to say, I think I commented on the on Andrew's live. I said, I need James Jones as my hype man, because every time you're on there, like, hit that like button. Yeah, guys. First of all, James, thank you so much. All donations today are going towards buying kids shoes in less fortunate areas of Medellin as part of our Christmas drive, right? So maybe even when we go there, I might actually vlog it and show you guys what we're doing, right? But once this is done, I'm also going to make the donation of all the money we've gathered here, and I'm going to screenshot and I'm going to post it on my community wall, right? So, guys, if you want to contribute to that, do that. But thank you, James. Thank you so much. You live in Oaxaca? I was there in March. My parents visited me from Australia, and I wanted them to show them like a very traditional Mexican town. So they met me in Mexico. They love Mexican food as well. So went to Oaxaca, had all their moles and different things. And yeah, it was super, super fun there. We were in Oaxaca City. But I have spent time before in Puerto Escondido too. So yeah, beautiful place. And thank you so much for the donation, my man. Hella Kelly 86 says, what have been the best holidays you've seen there so far? Holidays meaning like festivities? I haven't actually, let me think. That's a good question. I don't think I've actually seen anything. It's not like Feria de Flores and stuff, where they have like the big processions with the flowers and stuff. For me personally, it's not that interesting, so I've just never been. But is anyone else has been to some of the festivities? Let us know. One that people always talk about and everybody knows about is the biggest party in Colombia. My girlfriend and her friends, they've been like maybe, I don't know, 10 years in a row or something, is Carnaval in Barranquilla. And Andrew as well, he goes every year. I think next year is going to be his 10th year, and he says that is incredible. So if you're into partying and like a traditional type of partying, then definitely check out the Carnaval in Barranquilla. But me, I mean, I don't drink, I don't party, so it's not really my thing. But yeah, thanks, James. Once again, thanks for everyone who's donated today. We appreciate you, and I'm sure the kids will appreciate you as well. So today we're talking about the biggest negatives or the most frustrating things that I face and you probably face on a day-to-day basis while living in Colombia. And we're not talking really about, what is it, like obvious things like safety or things like that. We're talking about things you might face living here. If you've made this your home and you're trying to do business activities, or if you're trying to like integrate with the expats here or things like that, all those things form part of this list. So let's just recap. Number one, we had that customer service is horrible, and when they make a mistake, there's no accountability, right? Number two is everything is much slower than you used to in number two, not three. Number two is everything is slower than what you used to in your country, probably, and the processes are horribly inefficient, and a lot of the time the websites and stuff are broken. So a simple 2-minute task could turn into a whole day task, right? And the solution for those two things, bad customer service and everything slow, processes efficient, is hire a PA. Get a PA, just tell them what you want to do. They charge, well, my one charges $8 an hour. I think that's a pretty good rate. So you can probably get that down lower because she just charges by the hour like a freelancer. But if you put someone on for the whole month, then that's going to be even more affordable, and they can help you with all your things like booking tickets or booking like restaurants or whatever you might want. Yeah. So those are the two solutions for that. Number three was lack of access to items. So that's one thing you're going to have to give up if you come here. You're not going to be able to get the latest and greatest and newest things immediately like you can in the US, right? You can't just go on Amazon, boom, this came out today, get it to my house within 2 hours. Not going to work that way. Many of the things you can get, but you might have to pay extra. I did cover that. If you import something from Amazon or wherever and it's over $200, you have to pay 30% import tax. If you keep it under that, it'll normally come within 7 to 10 days and it's all good, right? A way you can get around that is you can schedule some trips back home or get a friend to bring it with them. Make sure that if you or your friend brings the product with them, to take it out of the box and have it basically like a personal item, so that it's not like in the box because they can charge you the fee at the airport, right? So that's the three. And number four was toxic foreigners. I've seen a lot more toxic foreigners, negative foreigners, bitter foreigners, and expats in this city than I have seen anywhere else in the world that I've been to, right? And number five on the list is, before we get to number five, I just want to say, if anyone is looking to move to Medellin long term, or even visit, but this is more for someone who wants to move to Medellin, go to the link in the description, the link as the first pinned comment if you're watching this video on replay. It's medellinmasterclass.com/checklist, right? We've put over 100 hours, us, our PAs, Andrew, our team, everybody together has put over 100 hours into this. Once you download it, it's a checklist. It has over 120 cells. It tells you basically everything you need to know. For people who know nothing about Colombia, we have some videos on there explaining why a lot of people are moving to Colombia. And below it, we cover everything in terms of like visas, entry requirements, rentals, renting through the local methods, what to bring, things like that, right? So it's a one-stop shop to basically give you a crash course into visiting or mainly moving to Medellin, Colombia, right? So check that out. Also, the craziest thing is it's free. Once you download it, you're going to be like, why these guys don't charge for it? But yeah, it's free. Medellin masterclass.com/checklist. Here we go. We got some more donations coming in. Hotshot U, sick name. Hotshot U. We have $20. He says, for the kids. Thank you, buddy. That is amazing. We've definitely hit $100 now. I lost count, but it's from the top of my head, I think it's about between 100 and 150 for the kids. That is going to go a long way, right? We basically have made almost a monthly minimum wage for someone here in Colombia. So that is going to be very, very, very helpful. You guys are absolute legends, and it makes me very happy to see things like this, right? So we have a Francisco Javier. He says 1999. Thank you, man. Why is it? First of all, thank you so much. But this is just I'm a very curious person. Why is the number so weird? Why is it 1999? Did Facebook did YouTube make you do that, or did you just enter in 1999 for like a habit or something? But thank you, Francisco Javier, bro, long time subscriber. Been busy with work. Want to sign up for masterclass? Reach out to me, please. Love from Puerto Rico. Francisco, what you can do is go to medellinmasterclass.com, scroll down a bit. There's a section that there's a little footer that'll come up that allows you to book a call with us. You can book a call with me and Andrew. We'll come on the call with you. You can ask us your questions about the masterclass. You can tell us your problems. We can tell you if the course is right for you, and also which course you might want to buy, and then we can go further with that. So yeah, do that, or leave a comment on this video, and I can also tell you how to get in touch with us. All right, but thank you so much. Let me know about that 1999, because I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight unless I know why you did such a weird number. Gil Girls, Luis Diaz's dad is now free. What, he was in jail or what? DIB lifestyle. I lived in Colombia for a year, 6 months in Medellin and 6 months in Cartagena. I just got back from Santa Marta and Barranquilla. I'm living in Cartagena. You'll need to come. Man, I hate Cartagena. I'm sorry to tell you, but I just can't deal with Cartagena. It's just like the beaches, first of all, unless you leave Cartagena and you go to like the islands, the beaches are shit, right? I come straight from Mexico, where it's got some of the best beaches in the world, and I was just very disappointed with looking at Cartagena. And also, like, the sex tourism there is out of control. Like, I stayed there in the old town. I was working on a film job for this tour agency, and basically in the middle of Old Town, where you see all the like tours and the families and stuff, after like 7 p.m. it's just boom, flooded with like seedy people and sex workers. And like one night I just got a pizza. It was maybe 9 p.m. and I got my pizza and I went back to my room, in my hotel room, and like the front door where I had to go through, there was just like 6 girls, working girls standing there. And I was like, girls, can you please, por favor, can you please move? I'm trying to go to my hotel. And they're like, oh, sorry. They were nice about it. But I mean, not everyone wants to see that. That's why I don't like Cartagena. Not to mention all the guys trying to scam you and sell you stuff all the time immediately as you exit the airport. So not for me. Discuss passport bros. If I have time, I'll discuss that at the end. I have some very interesting things to say, because I've learned a lot about passport bros lately. Been doing a bit of research, actually. Francisco Javier said the 1999 is a Facebook thing. Thank God. Now I can sleep. Those kind of weird little things is what keeps me up at night. Guys, we have 10 minutes before I need to pack up, warm up my lungs for my singing lesson. Today, I'm working on No Such Thing by John Mayer. Does anyone know that song? Great song. But yeah, I play guitar, play drums, always want to learn how to sing. Next year, hopefully I'll be doing a live performance somewhere. That's on my bucket list, but I digress. David Toback, another 1999. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Zapatos, yes, we have got a lot of money now, maybe like 150. Thank you so much, David. These kids are going to love it. I absolutely cannot wait to shoot a video when we go out there. I actually leave for Bolivia on Christmas Day, so I'm hoping this event happens like before that, but I'll definitely be going there, making a video and sharing it with you guys, so you can actually see why all the kids look at the smile on the face. The smiles on their faces, right? I went to one of these events when I first got to the city. I was here for only like a week. I went up into the mountains where, you know, the lower income families live, and we went to kind of like an orphanage thing. And I had my camera, and it was an amazing experience, because I think a lot of the kids had never seen themselves in a photo before. And they're like, what's this thing? So I'll take a photo of them, and then they look and they'll be like, and then they start smiling, and it was super, super, super cute. Yeah, so that kind of things. I mean, for me anyway, like my parents, they grew up in a very poor country, one of the poorest countries in the world, actually, which is India. So for me, always giving back when I had some money to give back to everyone around the world was also always an important thing. So as soon as I got my first full-time job, when I was 23, I started to get some kids to sponsor on like World Vision. And when I was like 29, when I left Melbourne, I had 3 kids that I was sponsoring. So I think, in my personal opinion, if you move to Medellin and you are living on like $2,000 a month or whatever, living a great life, I think you should think about maybe even giving back your time or your money or both to helping people less fortunate. So if anyone wants to volunteer, let me know in the comments to this video and I'll get you sorted. There's many volunteer organizations here, right? Let's get some more questions. We have how much? 7 minutes. All right, let's get to it. Passport bros, interesting one. I want to talk about that. Let me just answer this. Missinger said no kids. I don't know. It's just kind of, I always thought when I was like 30, I would have kids. Now I'm 34. I'm like, man, my life is too good and I'm doing too much awesome stuff. I have too many boxes to check. And selfishly, I think that any kids that I have now is just going to stand in the way of all the stuff that I have planned. I definitely would consider, because obviously we do a lot of work with orphanages and stuff around here. I definitely would consider one day when I'm ready and I have more time, I would actually adopt a child, right? I would much rather prefer that and give a child a home who's, doesn't have a better life than maybe have one of my own when I'm a bit older, right? So I don't know. That's not really something I'm thinking about now, but I hope that's a good enough answer. He's from DYB Lifestyle is from Miami. It just reminds me of Miami. Reminds you of Cartagena. But yeah, the sex tourism is crazy. David Toback, YouTube only. You have 1999 again. Let's go. I love it. Everyone's just keeps making me look at 1999 now. But Francisco, thank you, brother. Another 1999 champion. Dude, I'm going to just put the comment on this video once it's over, or comment on any of my videos and just say, hey, this is Francisco, and I'll send you my email. We can get in contact, dude. But really appreciate it. I lost count. We're going towards maybe $200 now, I think. That is amazing. That goes a long way in Colombia. I still need to get to number 5. I don't think I did number 5 yet, did I? It's very hard to follow a live stream when you're trying to talk about a topic, but you got sidetracked with so many random questions about unrelated things. So just like, what the hell is going on and what the hell am I talking about? But I hope I've done a good job today, guys. Kind of a bit ADD all over the spot. But number 5 on the list of most frustrating things about living in Colombia is that despite all the frustrations, and despite all the inconveniences and despite all the sacrifices, I never want to leave. This place just drags you in and keeps you here. For any of you who've live here now, or any of you who've spent a long time, it has a very funneling factor. It sucks you in. I've met so many people in my comments as well who said, hey, I visited for a week. I need to come there now. How can I move there? I've seen the other side. I've seen how people are living over there. I can't be in my home paying $4,000 a month on living expenses in the US. I need to come there immediately now. The perfect example is one of our masterclass students. He said that he had a 2-year plan of moving to Medellin, right? We just met him for dinner the other day. If any of you are part of our newsletter, I did a special video for you guys. We went out to dinner. You'll see the video. So he said he had a 2-year plan and he had all this thing. I'm going to do this, save this, sell that, whatever. And then he said he's just left 2 days ago. He spent 2 weeks in Medellin and he's like, I can't do it. I've changed my 2-year plan to a 1-year plan. I'm going to sell everything and I'm going to move there now. I can't see a downside. From what I've seen, everything is incredible. I need to be there now. So that is the number one frustration for many people, is that you need to change your whole plans. You need to change your whole life, because once you come here, you want to stay and you're going to do everything you want in your power to stay, and all the other things are going to go on the back burner and your life is completely going to change. I knew nothing about Colombia when I got here. I was living in Seattle, Washington with a couple of my mates, American mates, and I didn't have a job. I was unemployed, so I always had all the free time in the world. And they just had some holidays and they're like, hey, we want to travel. Let's travel together. And I said, where do you want to go? They said, Colombia. I said, oh, this place, I heard a bit about it. Sounds pretty interesting. What can we do there? And they're like, oh, there's this city, Medellin. Maybe we can check out Cartagena, Santa Marta. It's supposed to be pretty cool. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm always open to new experiences. I'd never been to South America at that time. I always wanted to do a big trip of South America. So I said, boys, you pick, let's go. So I went there. I got here. I wanted to stay a month and then continue on a big trip of South America. Never did that trip. I visited Brazil briefly, Peru briefly, but never did the big trip that I wanted because I loved it so much and I just stayed. So number one frustration is you're gonna love it so much, it's gonna put a spanner in all your other plans, and you're gonna have to build your life around Medellin. So I bet that's not what you were expecting from the number 5 frustration, but that's what you get today. All right. So we got 2 minutes. Oh my God, I'm going to be late. My singing teacher is going to yell at me. Let's see. David wants to help. Buddha wants to help. Guys, please comment on this video when it's done, or comment about any of my videos. Comment on any of my videos, because I'm going to give you the steps of how to get involved in volunteering in Colombia. We'd love to have you. The kids will love it. Also, good on you for doing that, right? That's amazing. Falabond, $5. Let's go, with a little hippopotamus picture. How do those pictures come up anyway? Do you guys pick them or they just come up? But thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who donated today. The Passport Bros thing is a long topic. I can't cover it in less than 60 seconds, which is what I have now. So that will be the next live stream. Please come on. CYB Daddy, I think you asked that question, or someone else asked that question. Come on and ask that as the first question, not the last question. So then I can get straight into that. But I'm going to be doing this live stream every second Thursday at 10:30 a.m. every second Thursday of the month, and every fourth Friday, so the final Friday of every month, I'll be doing a live stream with Andy, right? And that's at 11 a.m. But you'll see that on my channel as well. Hopefully we can find you guys there. Hopefully you join in for that one, and hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. Anything else you'd like to improve next time? Always open to suggestions. This video is going to be taking some time to process, and then it's going to go on YouTube. So you can always watch it in full entirety later, and you can comment on there as it was a normal video too. So let me know any comments you have. Thank you once again, everyone who joined in. Thank you. And a special thank you to everyone who donated. All right. So thank you so much. After the singing class, I got a lunch, and when I get home tonight, I'm going to actually make the donation. I need to add all this up as well. I'm going to make the donation, and I'm going to send you the screenshot. And yeah, thank you so much. See you next time.